And in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well. The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, Ted, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, Griffin, not too shabby. In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well. The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, Ted, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, Griffin, not too shabby. In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well. The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships.
There we are. thank you for that, James. Turns out my mic was not on. I'll reintroduce myself. Welcome, everyone. It is Season 6 WHF. We're here in Tier 3, the first Tier 3 season in WHF. We had Tier 3 back in SSR days. Back in SSR, what season might have been? It's been a while. We also may even get Raheem in as well, if Raheem is moving. We'll see if Raheem's moving. I see him typing in the chat, but he's having issues with his Wi-Fi, so it's going to be 14 drivers here in Tier 3. It's such a lovely sight to see Tier 3 on a Friday evening, and we're here in Silverstone to kick off the calendar here, as Dobo will be the first driver to set a lap here in the inaugural Tier 3 season. But welcome in, everyone. Thori says no voice on YouTube. Can you hear me, Thori? You should be able to hear me. I'm pretty sure you should be able to hear me now. My mic is coming through. At least on OBS, unless there's still some issues. Luskarn says, let's go Season 6. But can you all hear me? Anyone want to let me know if I can be heard? But anyway, let us... Luskarn says we can hear you now. That's good. Good to know. But anyway, Dobe will be the first driver around in Season 6. The Red Bull driver who has been a WHF stalwart for a long time here. And has been on and off throughout the WHF days. But Dobe returns for Tier 3. Has threatened at a couple of Tier 2 championships. And now can Dobe... Now that he returns to Tier 3, could we see Dobo potentially pick up a championship in Tier 3? Also, we have Billion Penguin all the way back from the SSR days, a former Tier 3 challenger as well. Billion has been with SSR and WHF throughout the years, and he finally returns here. Could Billion challenge? We've also got a couple of quick drivers in today: Smoking Ash, Cali Canal, AU, that's A54, and Few. I honestly think a lot of them, and maybe even Lil Gunna, have a lot of pace in hand, as Dobo, the first driver to start a lap here in Silverstone, as he flies through the opening sector, as he heads through the loop, tries to rotate the car, and up the gears as he gets the DRS enabled, and down to Luffield. But I missed that bump on the outside, although I don't think it's as big a factor as it used to be on F124. It's been dampened a bit through F1 25. But Ollie Bean in the chat says, predictions for Tier 3 Championship. Well, here's the thing, Ollie Bean. If there's a couple drivers who are too quick for Tier 3, there's a big spin from Dobo at Cops. Massive save, beautiful save from the Red Bull driver. This is the thing, if you're too quick on day one, you might end up getting moved up, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword here as Lil Gunna flying his way through on his first lap. We'll see what Lil Gunna can do. And Lil Gunna, if his times are to be believed, what you said in the chat earlier, Lil Gunna may be too quick for Tier 3 as well. Well, this is a good opportunity to see some of the drivers' pace. If anyone appears to be... Sluskarn says, got a sandbag in the beginning to win Tier 3 as Dobo sets a lap, but not a quick one as Lil Gunna does a 26.7. Oh, I can't believe I said that out loud. Anyway, who else do we have out on a lap? Smoking Ash flying around Cali Canal with a 27.7 as Smoking Ash up to the line and does a 27.8. Billion Penguin with a 27.6. NMX James with a 27.4. But Lil Gunna, as it stands, does seem to be a level above and may be one of the drivers who moves up following this race, as Few does a 27.1. And Infrajack on a lap here. He's got the Haas in front of him. Is the Haas aware that he is behind? Yes, Haas pulls out of the way. Abe starting a lap. Page starting a lap. Pratt is invalid. We'll need to go again as Infrajack. Using that curb at the inside of Copse. We've seen Dobo spin there earlier. But Infrajack navigates it well. Infrajack, very quick driver in Tier 2 last season. Had a couple of decent performances. I think Infrajack could be one of the favourites for this Tier 3 title. It will be interesting to see as time progresses who will be the ones to watch. As Infrajack now on a flyer and entering the final sector, having a good run from the Red Bull. As he comes up to the line, where can the Red Bull go? It's a 28-1 for Infrajack in P7, but a pretty close field as it stands. RJ with a P10, Abe now on a flyer. But washes out wide and invalid does Abe. Meanwhile, Northy, Page on a lap. El Pratt's invalid. Page seems to have made a mistake on her lap, so she's going to go in for another set of tyres. Meanwhile, Northy on a lap here in the Williams. And we'll see what Northy can do as he comes down into Copse corner. And Northy rounding the final sector. Where can he put the Williams as he comes up to the line? It's a 28-3. Decent lap there from Northy, as he's just behind Sci-Fi Mega Hype by 100th. Meanwhile, El Pratt on a lap. This time should be a valid run as long as he keeps it valid throughout the lap. But El Pratt, new to PC, new to wheel. And we'll see what El Pratt can do on this flyer. Had a podium last season in Tier 2, but now that he's new to wheel, may struggle down a bit down the order. But what can El Pratt do as he comes through Maggots and Beckett's exits? Beckett's got to get the best exit possible. It will carry you down the hangar straight. DRS enabled, but El Pratt appears to be out of fuel. And El Pratt gonna have to come in for another set of tyres and put some extra fuel in that car. Let's see who else is out on a lap. I think Northy on an in lap. We've got Sci-Fi Mega Hype, Ash and Kelly Cannell on out laps. Paige says back on controller today and not loving life. Paige, do you have wheel? I mean, I thought I knew Ollie and Ledgeman were on wheel. I was unsure whether you and Northy are on wheel. It'd be really funny if everyone in the family was on wheel. I'd be quite jealous because it took me so long to get a wheel, and now at 24 years of age, I finally have a wheel myself to start the season. But it'd be funny if the whole LTJ family all have wheels. But Kelly Cannell will be the next driver around. Debutant in this season. A lot of debutants here in Season 3, especially in WHF. The debutants today are Lil Gunna, Few, James, Kelly Cannell, Smoking Ash, and I think that's it, yeah. Everyone else here has raced before in WHF or SSR. And as things stand, all the debutants with a very strong start, especially Lil Gunna, 4/10 clear of Few up at the front. Meanwhile, Kelly Cannell. Oh, big mistake there from the Aston Martin driver. Touches the grass and goes straight on, and he'll have to try another attempt at a lap here. Meanwhile, the Mercedes pair of Ash and Few possibly started their laps too close together. Few is very close behind his Mercedes teammate today of Smoking Ash. And Ash lets Few go. Realizes he's holding his teammate up slightly on this attempt. As we will stay with Few on this lap. Currently P2. And chasing after Lil Gunna's time. Currently with a 26.7.3. Few 4 tenths behind. But we'll see as Few exits Sector 2 how much time is he gaining on. He's gone wide there at Stowe Corner, lifted off to keep it valid. We'll see, is Few improving at all here? And rounding the final corner, where can the Mercedes go? Up to the line, Few does a 26.784. A suspect lap there considering he left the track to make that lap happen. Meanwhile, Dobo attempt the good on this lap. Anyone else ahead of him on a lap? Let's quickly see RJ on an in-lap. Ayub on a lap as RJ just about gets out of the way of Ayub. Would have been a little bit distracting for the Algerian drivers. He loses the rear, trying to plant the throttle as he comes up to the line. Ayub with a 27.9 for the Algerian driver. Meanwhile, Dobo 3 tenths to the good. Needs more time if he wants to improve though. Does the Red Bull as he heads through this final sector now. What can Dobo do as he rounds the final corner? And Dobo now in the Red Bull up to the line. Goes to P8 just ahead of his teammate Infrajack. Meanwhile, Ash is 2 tenths to the good in the Mercedes. And what can Ash do? Currently a 2/10 improvement would put him ahead of Billy and Penguin into P4. But as things stand, it looks like Lil Gun and Few are going to disappear down the road in this one. And Ash up to the line goes to P4 with a 27.61. NMX James with a 27.1 as well. Brilliant lap time from the Ferrari driver. Meanwhile, who else do we have out there on a lap? Infrajack 3 tenths to the good as he rounds the final corner. Uses that curb as he crosses the final corner. That's a 27.8 for Infrajack. Meanwhile, RWJ coming in. Page on an extra lap. El Prat now yet to set a lap in this session. As Ledgeman says, no Northie, I had such high hopes. As it said, connecting with online services, that worried me a little bit. I was wondering if I was going to get kicked from the lobby there. As on a flyer we go. El Prat improving on this run. But what can the Algerian driver do on his new wheel as he flies around the final sector, rear end stepping out as he rounds the final corner? What kind of lap is it? It's going to be a 27.9 for El Prat. Decent lap time and gets ahead of his Algerian teammate Ayub by just half a tenth. Very close field. I will say the top three appear to have checked out as Few is cutting some grass there. Or well, that seemed to be, maybe that was Ash. Ash cutting some grass here on his way in. But I don't think anyone else out on a lap. But currently as it stands, it looks like Lil Gunna, Few and James are just a level above everyone else. Looks like they're going to get moved up to Tier 2 for tomorrow's race as Tier 2 heads to China for the opening round of the season. Meanwhile, from everyone, from Ash down, it does look like a relatively competitive Tier 3 here. Very close together. But let us keep an eye on what the drivers can do in their final runs. Anyone on a lap here? El Prat on an in lap, couple drivers on an out lap, and it appears to be might be Northy, who is the next driver to start a lap here. 2 minutes and a half remaining in this session. This will be a couple of these drivers' last attempts at an improvement. As Northy charging on this lap as Northy enters turn 1 and into village, gets the car rotated as his family members, Ledgeman and Ollie Bean, cheering him on in the Twitch chat. Northy just 100th behind Sci-Fi Mega Hype as things stand. Where can Northy go? As he's exiting Luffield now, and may even get a little bit of a tow from the Mercedes. As El Prat in the chat says, heavy rain in the race. Interesting. Gonna be wet race for the opening round of the Tier 3 calendar. Not the ideal scenario that the Tier 3 drivers are going to be looking for. Don't want to see the wet, as Northy appears to carry too much speed through Mackett's, and Beckett's had a check up, and not the ideal exit of Beckett's. Zamp in the chat says, first ever WHF Tier 3 race, and it is great to see how the league has grown. As Northy in a big invalidation at Stowe, that's going to cost Northy. He's going to have enough time to go again, but is he going to have enough battery really to improve? That's the question. Meanwhile, RJ on a lap, he's invalid. Is Ayub improving? Doesn't appear to be so, as RJ a 10th down. Sci-Fi seems to be doing an extra lap. It's RJ next in the Ferrari with a 29.1. As Thorny says, top 3 could be a dry setup. I don't think it'll be that drastic a difference. We'll have to see, as RJ, recently new to League Racing, joined WHF in Season 5, and here in Season 6, RJ joins Ferrari. And what can RJ do in the opening race of the season here in Tier 3 as he runs wide at Stowe, and an invalidation for RJ. A couple of drivers struggling with invalidations, as Little Gunna and Few on laps very close together. Are they on track? Never mind. On the timing sheet as well. Checkered flag falls. NMX James, Infrajack and El Prat out. Who is going to be the next driver to the line? I think it is El Prat invalid. We've got the Haas of Billy and Penguin. Billy and Penguin, former SSR Tier 3 driver and even Tier 2 driver back in the day. Great to see the OGs come back, and Billion, one of the favourites for the Tier 3 Championship, you would think, here in the Haas. And Billion, though, losing the rear out of the final corner. That's going to cost him mega. Oh, he could have had an improvement. He improves by a 10th. Improves by a 10th anyway, despite that mistake, as Kelly Cannell retires in the pit lane. Meanwhile, who is next around? It'll be Page going slowly, as Gunna on a flyer here. Hopefully Page's AI does not get in Gunna's way, as Gunna now rounding the final corner. And where can Gunna go? Currently charging to the line. It's going to be a 26-0. Few going to cross line behind, improves by a 10th. As Smoke and Ash with a 27-4. Brilliant lap there from Ash, as Ayub next around, crossing the line. Where's he going to go? P6 with a 27-7. We've got Northy and RJ out there, and neither improving, but as it seems, Gunna is 110% moving up, along with Few. Gunna even might move up to Tier 1 with that lap time. Meanwhile, Few definitely moving up to Tier 2 as well. As Fizzy Boy is joined, or trying to join. Hopefully I can add him in time. Let me see if he comes under F. James G says, Jesus, what a lap that is. As Lil Gunner does a 26.0, 6 tenths, almost clear of Few. He's a further 5 tenths ahead of NMX James, who's 3 tenths ahead of Ash. Big gaps up at the front here in Tier 3, as the drivers will get ready. I must tell the drivers not to ready up early. As Zampa says he does want to join the commentary booth. I'm going to try and get Zampa in before we go racing. Zampa, can you hear me? But it is going to be an extremely wet opening race of the season here for Tier 3. Unfortunately, Fizzy, I can't get you in. You've joined too late. You wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to pick a car, unfortunately, as we've already passed qualifying. So, unfortunately, you have to wait until next week to get your first race of the season, unless we have a lobby restart, which hopefully will not. I think all drivers know not to ready up early. I've pinged them just saying to not ready up early. As a welcome in, Zampa. How's it going?
There we go. There we go. Hello. Hello. Oh, it's pissing it down with rain.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely chaotic start to the season here in Tier 3. Not the ideal start that Tier 3 drivers would have wanted for their inaugural race here in WHF, but it's going to be a fun one. We'll see how some of the drivers will do. I think Lil Gunna and Few are going to absolutely check off down the road given their qualifying performances, but let's see who else could end up on the podium. NMX James with a brilliant lap there in P3 as well. But
you did pick, it is England you picked.
I suppose, yeah, it is Britain, but I just thought sometimes it's sunny in Britain, but this is not one of those times.
Who we're looking out for?
I think Lil Gunna and Few definitely are going to be moved up after this race. As L Pratt in the chat says, all wet, so the whole race appears to be just wet from start to finish, which is not the ideal start that the Tier 3 drivers would have wanted. Also, WHF has made a little change in the rules. We're going to be doing standard safety cars, so last season it didn't appear like we got too many safety cars on reduced, but now given that it's wet, we might see a whole lot more, wouldn't you think, Zampa?
Yeah, definitely. If it was on standard last year, I think I might have had a few better results. There was so many times I was praying for it to come out, but it didn't.
Well, the drivers should be readying up now, and we will have the inaugural race here in Tier 3 for WHF. And it's going to be an exciting one. I think the battle for the win is going to be between Lil Gunna and Few, but we can hear the chimes counting down now for the 5 red lights here in round 1 in Britain. Who will win in Silverstone? We will soon find out, as we'll have the 5 red lights on as Lil Gunna and Few start on the front row of the grid. A lot of drivers are out in wet tyres as it's the lights out and away we go. And into turn 1, Lil Gunna leads us away. A couple drivers doing wets, couple drivers doing enters. Contact already. Billy and Penguin involved. A Mercedes, I believe, involved there as well. As Billy and dropping all the way down the orders. NMX James contact with Few. Big contact here on the opening lap as Ayub battling on the inside of Sci-Fi Mega Hype, who started on the inter tyres. Everyone else out in the wets. Could Sci-Fi Mega Hype use those inters very well, as we see in the
Ooh,
background?
someone's way wide.
The Williams of Northey leaves the track. Page overtakes into P11 as Dobo battling with Sci-Fi Mega Hype. He's goes deep as Infrajack now up into P3 ahead of the Mercedes of Few. Few's not had the ideal race start here as Sci-Fi Mega Hype battling here with RJ. And Sci-Fi dropping back a bit on these inter tires. He may struggle at the start here, but as time progresses, Sci-Fi might be on the right tires, but currently he's really not had a strong start, dropping down a couple positions as Billy and Penguin gets through on Northey. Northey locking the rears through Copse Corner as El Prat going to get through on Northey as well. Sci-Fi Mega dropping down like a stone as Billy and Penguin up into P11 in behind Page. I think
That Alpine's not loving it. Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I think someone might have picked up damage early on. I've seen something flying off someone's car. I'm not quite sure who may have picked up the damage.
I mean, they're all still alive. They're all still going. It's all pretty close still.
Yeah, Cali Canal
It's
now.
not bad. Page is going for it here on Billion.
Yeah,
Oh. No, not quite.
yeah. Billion gets through on Page as Lilgona sets the fastest lap and has checked out down the road already. I think Lilgona has this in the bag. So into the rear goes Infrajack into the rear of NMX James as Infrajack losing the rear, trying to find a way through on the Ferrari as Infrajack absolutely sawing at the wheel, trying to battle with the Ferrari, and this is an absolute monster battle between these two as Few trying to regain some composure. I wonder was Few involved in that lap 1 incident as Infrajack runs out wide. May have picked up a warning there, but a very chaotic start here. But if you don't count Lil Gunn, it's actually a pretty close start.
Yeah, the house is gone. Absolutely gone.
Yeah, I think it is Ayub who has the damage. Left end plate gone, and now he has Dobo for company. As RJ in behind as Dobo gets through on the inside of Ayub. Ayub washed out wide. That's opened the door to the Red Bull as RJ gets through on both of them. How'd that even happen? That just happened in the space of no time, but RJ washes out wide, opens the door to Dobo as now Ayub on the outside as we enter Maggots, and Ayub gets through on RJ. RJ gets through into P7 but lost it in the next corner. Meanwhile, Cali Canal follows along. Smoke and Ash is the Mercedes pair debuting today, having a strong start. Fuse dropped down a couple of positions though. He's trying to regain some composure as Infrajack all over the rear of NMX James on his debut here.
I
Meanwhile,
think you should ask Gunnar what he's up to Saturday nights, by the looks of things.
I was about to say we must ask him when he's doing
Sunday
Sunday
nights.
nights at this point. Ash goes very wide onto the gravel, exiting the final corner, and Cali Canal now down the inside of turn 1, but Ash keeps it ahead. Lovely defensive driving from Ash, keeping that P5 as Few trying to regain his composure, but Ash still on the wet tires. Are we seeing any the track drying up at all? Doesn't seem to be so far.
I don't think so. They're locking up all over the place as well. I've just gone around a few of them. They're all locking up all over the place. I've got the gearbox glitch as well, which is nice to listen to.
Well,
Billion nearly lost it there.
Yeah, Billion battling with RJ, but still a good couple battles here. Cali Canal's been all over the rear of Smoke and Ash the whole race so far, and been trying to find a move. Infrajack has been putting James under a lot of pressure on his debut.
Is one set of these wets going to go to the end? Is some nutter going to try and do a no stop?
I think in previous games it was possible as Sci-Fi makes a mistake, opens the door to El Prat, and El Prat through, exiting Copse Corner. But I think on previous games you could do it, but I think on this game the tire wear is too high. I think we may see someone try it, but I think on this game, no matter what the conditions are, the tire wear is just too high to try and make no stops work. But we'll see. Maybe Little Gunner, who sets the fastest lap, will try it, because he's got not much else to do, it seems. He's a level above everyone, unfortunately, here And I think Lil Gunna will be moving up to Tier 2, if not Tier 1, after this race. As Ash on the rear of Few. And Few, despite doing very well in quali, he was clear of NMX James by half a second, but now he's all the way down in P4 and is dropping back from Infrajack. I wonder, is Few carrying some damage here in that Mercedes, as he's got his teammate Ash in behind, and Cali Canel also trying to keep the Mercedes keen, as Ash already pulling to the inside, trying to cool those wet tyres. Potentially,
I'm not saying there's a dry line, but I think something just changed. It looks a bit better now.
yeah, they're
Probably going to start to struggle on these tyres.
Yeah, there's a drier line forming, that's for sure, as Sci-Fi now gets into P12 as El Prat trying to dive around the outside, and side by side they're going. But I think you're right. I think Sci-Fi's inters are now starting to prove to be the quicker tyre. It was just a shame that Sci-Fi struggled so much off the start. I think we will see this go from wet to inter, just when that is, not quite sure. Meanwhile,
Billion's looking into the Ferrari. He's right on the back.
Yeah, as we enter Maggots and Beckett's. Billion all over the rear of RJ. And Billion now on the rear of RJ. Surely going to get by as we head down to Stowe Corner. And Billion in P9 earlier. He had a decent qualifying, but on lap 1 had big drama and dropped all the way down the order. And Billion now gets ahead of RJ, but RJ going to come into the pit lane and be one of their first drivers to box, potentially for inters. It's pretty early to be going inters, I would say. But we'll see what he can do. As Infrajack all over the rear of NMX James. James goes defensive again. As Infrajack again sawing at the wheel. RJ is onto the inters, so maybe the crossover point is almost here. And RJ is the first to go for it, as El Prat gets ahead of Page. Sci-Fi Maghype all over the rear of Page as well. Trying to find a way through. Can Sci-Fi use these inters, as that dry line is starting to form? Meanwhile, Infrajack still trying to find a way past NMX James, as Lil Gunna's got a...
stuck behind him.
Yeah, he's trying...
Infrajack just can't get past.
Yeah, he's trying to find the traction. Meanwhile, Cali Canel all over the rear of Ash as we exited Luffield. And Ash desperately defending here in these wet conditions. The wet conditions may be helping a little bit, as Cali Canel struggles for traction in behind Ash. Meanwhile, Infrajack trying to find a way through on NMX James. But honestly, I'm a bit surprised to see a few struggling so much. A few did qualify very strongly, but in these wet conditions just hasn't really shown the pace that he showed in qualifying. Meanwhile, Infrajack still trying to find a way past James as he bumps the rear of the Ferrari, and the Ferrari of NMX James going to come in. And
they're all in. They're all in.
Yeah, a lot of drivers in for inters. The Mercedes don't double stack. Few stays out along with Infrajack. James comes in, and Few going to try the overcut, as Lil Gunna can do whatever he likes at this point. It doesn't really matter what strategy anyone else is on. I think Lil Gunna could go to the end on these tyres. Even when dry, it wouldn't really matter. He's got that big of a lead. As Page battling with the Alpine of Sci-Fi. And Sci-Fi around the outside makes that stick. But has Sci-Fi made this strategy work? I think he has. He's exited ahead of all of the inter runners, but he does have 5-lap older inters. So Sci-Fi has a little bit of an advantage there starting on those inters. But how long does that advantage last? We will see.
Well, the undercut didn't work for RWJ at all.
Yeah, 4 seconds
They've
back.
all pitted and come out in front.
Yeah, 4 seconds back from AU, but I mean, he could still be battling with the likes of Page and Northey and maybe even El Prat, as I think that there definitely is a very strong dry line here.
Who are you calling Pratt?
El Prat?
Where's... what?
PP5?
PP5? Oh, El Prat. Yeah, I see.
If you wonder who El Prat is, he used to be known as Fakiri last season. Used to drive in the Haas in Tier 2, but he's now changed his name. As Kelly Cannell gets through on Northy as we head into Maggots, and Dobo now all over the rear of Northy, who you can see that the difference between the inters and the wets is Dobo looking for the switchback and just has so much grip on these inters as he's trying to get through on the Williams driver. Abe going to try to follow the Red Bull through as well. Dobo now down into Stowe, gets already ahead as Abe going to try and search for some traction as Northy may come in this lap, and Abe around the outside may have picked up a warning, avoiding the Williams there as Page comes in along with Northy and Billion Penguin. Meanwhile, a couple of drivers still staying out, the likes of Few, El Pratt, Infrajack and Gunna, and Gunna at this point looks like he's going to lap the field on current pace. But current leader out of all the inters is Sci-Fi Mega Hype. Next is NMX James on 5 lap fresher inters. Can James use those tyres to his advantage? We will see. As Billion Penguin exits the box in P12 just behind RJ. And Page out in P13 as well. But I know the battle for the win is basically over, but who do you think will end up P2?
I don't know. It doesn't look like staying out long on these tyres has done anyone a favour, so... Okay, aside from Gunner, the other ones might be in trouble. There's a massive gap between Few and Pratt, 15 seconds. By the time they pit, so many people are going to fill that up.
Yeah, Gunner into the box, and I think we might see as Gunner's got the fastest lap entering the pit lane. Oh, hilarious. As,
is that a bit of time trial fraud, is it?
Yeah, as Infrajack into the box, followed by Few, and I'm sure El Pratt's going to follow them in again.
Oh, they're all in.
As Northy's made a mistake, he's boxed onto the wet tyres again, so he may end up coming
Williams in. Right after RW. He's got him.
Yeah, exiting Beckett's gets ahead. But I wonder, is El Pratt coming in? No, El Pratt stays out on the wet tyres. Don't know what he's hoping for. Maybe he's trying to extend as RJ, the first driver, to pick up a 3-second time penalty today. Meanwhile, Northy may have to come in the pits again to actually pit on the inters, because those wet tyres are just going to lose time now that this drier line has formed. As we do see Few exiting the box now. Dobo on the outside, skates around the outside as Abe trying to find a way through on Few. And Few now down in P9. This shows you the overcut. Few down to P9. Can he work his way back up through the field in these interconditions, or will he lose out because of the overcut going too long? Now stuck in traffic as he gets shunted in the rear by Abe. I wonder, did Abe pick up some damage there? I think Abe already had left end plate damage, but now I think more of that front of that left part of the wing is gone. As Kelly Cannell now on the inside of Smoke and Ash as we head down through Cop's Corner, and Ash round the outside, Brave round the outside, leaves the track though. That could invite Kelly Cannell back onto the rear of the Mercedes very shortly, as it's very competitive here. As Ash leading the train from P6 down, as Kelly Cannell has been all over the rear of the Mercedes for what seems to be the whole race so far.
They're all just burning battery. Well, most of them.
And Ash able to keep him at bay. Meanwhile, NMX James now on the rear of Sci-Fi Mega Hype as Ayu picks up the next 3-second time penalty. But NMX James now going to try and use these fresher tyres as Abe comes in to fix that front wing. James on the rear of Sci-Fi Mega, but I must point out Infrajack on these 2 laps fresher inters has avoided the traffic that Fuse got caught up in. So Infrajack in a very strong position. He's got the freshest inters out there, and is just 1 point.
A54's just got a new front wing.
Yeah, that's Abe. He had contact there with Few earlier, as James on the rear of Sci-Fi. And how long can Sci-Fi defend on those older inters. Already looks like he's struggling as James on the rear now of the Alpine. And the longer this battle goes on, the easier it'll be for Infrajack. But James now down into Cop's corner will get through ahead of Sci-Fi. Makes that one look easy, but now Infrajack on the rear of Sci-Fi.
is the only one to not pit. He's making himself a set of inters out of those wets.
And Few picks up a 3-second time penalty, but surprised to see El Prat not come in. Potentially he's trying to go a lot longer before he boxes. And if he gets to around lap 13, I think his inters will 100% go to the end. But he's really trying to extend these wet tyres as far as they'll go. As Infrajack now trying to search way past Sci-Fi Mega Hype on the much older inters. As Few picks up a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty and retires in the pits.
Why?
I think he just was unhappy with how his race is going and gave up for the day.
Why?
I'm not quite sure why, but anyway, Infrajack on the rear of Sci-Fi in the Red Bull. And can Infrajack get through Sci-Fi as soon as possible, because the quicker he can get past Sci-Fi, the quicker he can head after James now, as James closing to El Prat, who's still yet to pit in this race.
Got a word from Bernie down in the pit lane. Go, Bernie. I think she's disconnected.
As Kelly Cannell on the rear of Smoke and Ash. Ash goes a little deep through Cops.
There are a little gang of them, like 4 down to, well, 4 to 8, I suppose.
As Infrajack gets through into P4 on Sci-Fi, and now he can head after NMX James. And NMX James on the rear of El Prat now, and El Prat still not boxing. I think El Prat going to try and take this as long as they'll go before he switches to the Inters. And the Inters, I think his fresh Inters will be very, very quick, as he'll have a big advantage over the rest of the field. Whenever he does switch onto the Inters, he'll have a couple laps fresher Inters, which we'll see what pace they have under that V-carb.
Sci-Fi has done a job there. He can go Inter. Yeah, only him and Pratt haven't pitted. Although when Pratt does pit, he's going to be way back.
Meanwhile, Cali Cannell on the rear of Ash and Sci-Fi as well involved here. Cali Cannell around the outside of the Mercedes. Side by side they go. And Sci-Fi goes very deep, opens the door to Ash on the outside. As Cali Cannell going to look for a switchback, as Sci-Fi a little bit of contact with Ash as they brush tyres through Luffield. Oh, and contact with Cali Cannell. Washes out wide. Oh, and Sci-Fi, big contact. Big contact there with the Aston.
Dobo did well to avoid that. I was just watching. Dobo's just been waiting behind them for a while, waiting for it all to go wrong, and he can just pounce. That's exactly what he's done.
As Cali Cannell gets a 10-second penalty there for that contact with Sci-Fi Mega. Not quite sure. I think that was leaving the track and gaining an advantage according to the game, but not quite sure who was at fault. We'll see what the stewards say after the race. As Dobo on the rear of Cali Cannell. And Cali now with damage plus that 10-second time penalty. We'll see if the stewards remove it by the end, but it might not be. We'll have to see what happens. Meanwhile, El Prat's still out on the wet tyres. Maybe he is trying to go to the end on the wet tyres, not quite sure. I would not recommend it. As NMX James...
Dobo's nearly lost it there, jeez.
As Ash gets round the outside of El Prat. Infrajack now 1.2 off NMX Shames. As Cali Canale gets at El Prat now, and surely El Prat going to be thinking about boxing very soon. Just getting absolutely gapped by everyone here as Dobo trying to find his exit out of Lovefield to get ahead of the wet runner of El Prat and just blows by him with ease.
Yeah. El Prat's tyres are completely dead. There's nothing left.
I think he's got to pit this lap. I think the Inters should go to the end from here as Dobo washes very wide out of Cops.
Although it does look like the rain's got a little bit heavier in the last lap.
Yeah, but it still has there is a very big...
There's way more droplets running down my TV screen than there was 2-3 minutes ago.
Yeah, I do agree, but there still is that drier line. So even though the rain is intensifying, you can still see it's definitely still Inters.
I think he's staying out because he's calling them off. He's driving in the wet bits and then going back on the line, El Prat. He's not giving up on these yet. Like, it's getting heavier.
Well, and now is Sci-Fi for company. Sci-Fi also a driver yet to pit in this race. Started on the Inters, the only driver to start on the Inters. And now El Prat is under pressure from Sci-Fi. He's going to dive down the inside as he locks the brakes, goes deep, and tries to get back down the inside of the V-Carb. Side by side they go. And this is great side-by-side action. As El Prat going to dance around the outside. Contact!
Oh, no!
And both of them around. Big contact. And Sci-Fi with big damage. And I think Sci-Fi is going to have to box now. That's big damage. As El Prat
again.
Spinning as he rejoins. And that's definitely not helped these old wet tyres.
Took out the advertising board. What happened there?
Well, Sci-Fi clipped the rear of the V-Carb as they exited entry, and both ended up spinning around, and big damage for Sci-Fi. Contact, into the side of El Prat. I think El Prat now should definitely use this opportunity to pick on the Inter tyres. Meanwhile, Sci-Fi is going to have to do... he's going to have to do his first pit stop and get a new front wing on that Alpine there. As we were worrying about all that drama, Infrajack, there was a 3-second time penalty as Abe also picks up another, but Infrajack is on 2 laps better tyres than NMX James, but Infrajack now, that 3-second time penalty may cost him even if he does get ahead of James, and thankfully El Prat and Sci-Fi come in, and El Prat finally can see those wets are not going to be the move. But I will say El Prat will be quick until the end on those fresher Inters. We'll see what he can end up doing.
Question. Is this a DSQ for Gunner?
It might be.
I'd say so. I'd say James and Infra are racing for the win here.
Yeah,
honestly.
That does seem how it's going to be. It looks like James and Infrajack are racing for the win, but the thing is, Infra, as you mentioned, he does have the better tyres, but that penalty could cost him even if he does get ahead of James, so it looks like the Ferrari driver may start the season with a win. But who's our closest battles? It's Cali Canale yet again back on the rear of Ash. It seems Cali Canale's going to be tormented by Ash, just unable to get ahead of the Mercedes driver. The Aston's actually carrying some damage here as well on that right end plate. And can Cali do anything to get ahead of the Mercedes? Although he does have that 10-second time penalty, which will cause him to struggle as El Prat picks up his first time penalty of the day. That's not going to help him on his charge back through the field again as he looks to recover. But we'll see what El Prat can do on those fresher Inters in comparison to the rest of the field.
New game.
As Ollie B in the chat says, sci-fi no new thrown the Strataway lad. I think that had to do when sci-fi had the contact with El Prat. But Ollie not helping us. Throwing in the chat says the line is too dry for wet. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be touching the wet tyres for the remainder of the race. And the rain has eased up. You were mentioning it was a bit heavy earlier, but now I do think it has eased up a little bit more. Although, as I mentioned that, it does look like it's still coming down at a decent rate, as Kelly Cannell still on the rear of Smoke and Ash as they continue to battle. Meanwhile, Infrajack finally on the rear of the Ferrari, and this is Infrajack's opportunity. If he does get ahead of the Ferrari, he has around 10 laps to pull a 3-second gap, which is not unheard of. Definitely possible for the Red Bull.
He's been stuck behind him this whole race. They haven't left each other alone.
Yeah, these two have been battling throughout. Infrajack has the better tyres, but does have that time penalty. But here's the thing, though. Infrajack also struggled to get past James all throughout the start here. So if James can continue to defend, then James could have his first win here in WHF on debut. What a race this is for James. Meanwhile, Infrajack, I don't even know had any podiums last season in Tier 2. But it could be a win for Infrajack as well, the Red Bull, if he can dispatch of the Ferrari driver.
Pratt's gaining on Page. He's trying to move up. One lap on them. God, this gearbox glitch is horrible. I hope they fix that in the new game.
Yeah, hopefully so. Although, as you mentioned, it's just going to be an update. I'll see if they patch that for the update.
I mean the new game.
For
27.
27.
Brand new game.
Well, here's the thing about 27 is it will 100% be a new engine, because they've been rumouring about going to a new engine for so long that 27, it's quite clear that will finally be them on the new engine. You would have to assume.
They're almost on Rockstar levels of stinginess when it comes to games, because ultimately this game is F1 2015 reskinned like to hell, and they're going to get one more year out of that, so they've done 11 years with one game. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, they did pretty well. I will say about Gunna's qualifying lap time, if Gunna were in Tier 1 last season, he would have out-qualified me by a 10th. So I think Gunna's definitely...
See you on Sunday.
He's definitely going to be Tier 1, as El Prat now on the rear of Page, finally going to get through on the Williams driver. And a lot of clear air ahead of El Prat. Can we see the V-Carb driver use it? As Page also going to try and defend from Sci-Fi Mega Hype in behind, as Sci-Fi looks to get the better exit out of Stowe, and Page struggling for traction as those 9-lap-old enters just struggling as an absolute late-breaking send from Page. Brilliant defensive driving from Page. An absolute kamikaze dive, and a beautiful defending there from Page. Sci-Fi doing well to leave the room.
Career mode overtake that.
Where you just send it in the inside and you know the AI will let you have it. As Callie Cannell now on the rear of Ash, still trying to find a way through in the Mercedes. Have been a very frustrating drive for the Aston Martin driver, especially with this damage has not helped at all.
Why did this few quit? That's just silly. Guaranteed some points.
Yeah, well, few may have to wait till next week to pick up some points here in Tier 3. As Callie Cannell on the rear of Ash.
Callie is missing an M plate. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure when that damage happened, but he has been carrying that damage for quite some time, and that's really frustrating him in behind Ash. He was struggling to get ahead of Ash early in the race when he did have a full front wing, so now with that missing end plate. It's going to make his life trying to get ahead of the Mercedes driver
Sci-fi.
that much harder as Sci-Fi gets ahead of Page now and can finally use those fresher inters with some clear air. I would have liked to see what El Prat could do if he didn't stare it solely on those wets. Also, the contact with Sci-Fi didn't help. But El Prat now is going to make up 13 seconds before he gets onto the rear of his teammate. So, El Prat is a good distance behind.
Gunner's coming up on lapping people now.
Yeah, Gunner coming up to the rear of, I believe, Page. I think he's already lapped Northy.
Oh, Lord.
As Cali Canal
Emperor's dropped right off James there now.
Yeah, Infrajack possibly overheating these inters, and as you can see now, Ash just 1.6 behind the Red Bull. So has Infrajack been pushing too hard, trying to get ahead of the Ferrari? Now he's got to worry about the cars behind him. He does have 2-lap fresher inters, but as things stand out, it looks like he has the older inters, just possibly from how hard he was pushing the tyres. And we could see Ash and Cali Canel potentially battle for a podium here. A reminder, Cali Canel's got a 10-second time penalty after contact with Sci-Fi Mega Hype. We'll see, do the stewards end up removing that after the race? We will have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Cali Canel on the rear of Ash, still trying to find a way through, as Infrajack is just losing time hand over fist, and it could be a matter of time before he loses a position here to Ash. And this is genuinely for P2 in the race, because both of them with 3-second time penalties. And
Gaining quick here.
yeah, surprising to see how much Infrajack's struggling here in the last number of laps. Still 7 laps to go in the race, and Infrajack now is going to have to defend for a lot of laps, as the Mercedes of Ash looking very punchy in behind. Either way, though, you would hope Infrajack could potentially get his first podium in WHF, but it's looking like NMX James and Ash with debut podiums on the way here. Cali Canel may miss out because of that 10-second penalty. We'll see. Do the stewards do anything to remove it? We'll have to see after the race. As Kevin in the chat says, Kevin says, what is that? What is that lead? Yeah, we're all aware, Kevin. We'll deal with it after the race. As Ash and Cali Canel still battling here, but can Infrajack recompose? I think he has recomposed very slightly, and he was around 3 seconds behind James. Now I think the gap closed down a little bit over this lap, but James looks like he has a potential opening win in the bag. I know you're thinking, sure, Lil Gunna's got a big lead. Well, I think we all know Lil Gunna has been sandbagging, so yeah. Anyway,
sandbagging, it's a whole fucking beach.
it's a beach. But anyway, NMX James, a strong start to his Tier 3 Championship challenge, as Ash, Infrajack continue to battle. And
Infra's found a second there in that lap.
The track,
he was 3.5 behind. He's now 2.5.
Yeah, he has found some pace, but making a little mistake out of Stowe, as Ash now closing up to the rear. And what I will say is the track is definitely the driest it's looked all race. The track is only got a couple of wet spots. Ooh. As we can see, Infrajack struggling here to get that rear rotated, and Ash possibly can see the Red Bull driver ahead of him really struggling, but hasn't really got a sniff so far. But there's still many laps to make this happen.
Looking forward to China tomorrow.
Yeah, Tier 2 heads to China. It'll be my first race on wheel as Ash off the track as we exit entry. Little run with the grass, but thankfully Ash survives, but it's invited Kelly Cannell back onto the rear of the Mercedes driver. But yeah, as you said, we head to China in Tier 2 for the opening round of the season tomorrow next, followed by Sunday where Tier 1 head to Australia for their opening round of the season. And to be honest, I think we can disqualify Cookie already for standbying for Sunday as well, because I think we'll see something similar happen. Although what I will say is Tier 1's looking probably the most competitive it has in quite some seasons. A very competitive field. The only drivers we're really missing is Nasev and Star from last season, who were P2 and P3, two very strong drivers who unfortunately will not be full-time next season.
Who's taking it to Cookie then?
Well, we do have a couple of quick drivers. We have AMS Apple, very strong driver. We have AZR Brandon, who was only reserving, but I think he is a driver who can definitely challenge for wins. We have Seth Martin. Let me have a look through the lineups just to see I'm not missing any really quick people. Rio Harris recently won in WR Tier 5 console, so Rio Harris finding a lot of pace on this game. We've also got JG, always...
Oh yeah, I was going to say, JG signed up. JG's good for a win every now and then.
Always a good challenger, but I think one of the most important drivers to note is Top Gun returning since a driver who was P2 in SSR Season 6, used to be known as Hungry Throne, and Top Gun has returned for a full-time seat, so Top Gun, it's going to be really exciting to see him race this season as well.
SSR Season 6. Aren't we now into WHF Season 6?
WHF Season 6. We've come a long way as Gunnar comes in for another pit stop. I wonder if he's going to try softs to the end. That'd be funny. Would love to see him try it. But Kelly Cannell now on the inside of Ash. Ash pushes him to the inside as he wants to maintain that position as we enter Maggots and Beckett's. And very close our way. Battling. And can Ash get through an Infrajack? Can Kelly Cannell find a way through an Ash? We are so close as we battle over P2. Who can get it by the end here?
Billions had a good recovery.
Ollie in the chat says this Infrajack comes in! Infrajack in on lap. As we start lap 24, no. I think Infrajack was in puncture territory. That's probably the only reason why he came in this late on. And that has opened the door to Ash to essentially get P2 here. Unless Kelly Cannell gets his 10-second removed, then it's looking like Ash has that P2 in the bag. Although Kelly Cannell, all over the rear of the Mercedes, as the Mercedes losing it through every corner. Kelly Cannell trying to find a way through as Ash.
We're going to see a puncture.
In P3. As Billion in. RJ in as well.
Yeah. They're all worried.
Yeah, all very worried for those punctures as Kelly Cannell does get through Brooklands, and Kelly Cannell now all around the outside at Luffield. Side by side they go. Ash trying to search for the grip on the inside and he gets it. A lovely move back through from Ash to defend from Kelly Cannell, and the Aston Martin driver must be furious in behind Ash. Just unable to get away through.
17 laps they've done on them. I wonder if they're all going to pit.
Well,
surely.
If I were them, I would try and risk it to the end, because you're just... Silverstone has the longest pit lane. You see Ash pulling to the inside to dry, or to cool those tyres, as Kelly Cannell now down the inside at Stowe. Can he outbrake Ash? As Ash, big contact with Kelly Cannell. Side by side they go. Big contact through Stowe, and the Aston Martin driver off the track as Dobo's coming in. Dobo's coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't believe it. Dobo in. And hilarious.
Wow.
Surprising to see.
There's no tread on the tyres. There's nothing. They are completely dead.
Yeah, on board with Ash. It looks like those are almost slicks at this point, as Callie Cannell in a similar situation, but big contact there between the Mercedes and the Aston Martin here. We'll see what the stewards say after the race about that incident. If Callie Cannell in
Did
the
you
end
even notice that
reports
Gunner
it-
pitted as well and come out 35 seconds ahead of him?
Oh yeah, he pitted as Billion now back into P7 as Abe has come in. Surprising to see Abe in. He only did 15 laps on the Inters. A couple of drivers doing 3 laps more than him before coming in. So Abe now on the fresh Inters. Meanwhile, Al Pratt has got himself up into P8 following his difficult race. Meanwhile, RJ in P9 has Abe now dropping behind Sci-Fi Mega Hype as Gunna picks up another fastest lap, but we'll have to work out who's got the second fastest lap to actually award who is going to get the fastest lap, and also pole position. Pole position should go to Few, who unfortunately, although has retired. Meanwhile, NMX James oh my god, I thought he was going to come in there. It looked like he was angling to come in as Ash stays out as well. That could have been a very crazy call on the final lap. But here's the thing though, as we start the final lap, NMX James has got to manage these inters. If he gets a puncture, it could hand the win to Ash as Ash leaves the track at the final corner. But Ash now closing on NMX James very rapidly here. Could Ash... I know he has the 3-second time penalty, but if James picks up a puncture, that could change everything here, and Ash could get... Oh, does Ash? I think Ash has got a puncture! Does he?
Oh.
He does, rear left puncture. Ash is going to puncture here. The driver battling for P2, and he may have all lost it here. Puncture on the final lap, and the Mercedes has got a limp home like Hamilton back in... was it 2020 or 2021 in Silverstone as Billy and Penguin's gone for the medium tyres? I suppose it has stopped raining now, but surely NMX James now has the win in the bag as Callie Cannell. Can he catch Ash before the end here?
Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad.
Ash
That
really
puncture is so bad.
Yeah, really struggling. Rear left puncture, and surely Callie Cannell's got to try and catch, but Callie Cannell also thinking about managing his tyres. Meanwhile, Infojack, remember him, 2 laps fresh, enters. He's on a charge to try and catch here as well. Ash, as we exit back.
Wait, no, he's got a puncture. James has got a puncture.
Oh, James has got a puncture on the final lap here as well. Callie Cannell gets through on Ash. James has got a puncture. All he needs to do is try and survive. And he's coming into the pit lane. Oh, he doesn't realise that's a pain. That is a pain for James. That is not smart. Has that all handed to the
Why is he pitted?
And so is Ash. Oh, they don't know that's a pain. As Callie Cannell and Inverjack battle into the pit lane, or battle across the line, and Inverjack in the end. Oh wait, I forgot. It's not even the final lap. The final lap's only started. I forgot how far Little Gunna's ahead. No, it's the final lap. I thought it had already been the final lap, but this may have handed the win to Inverjack. Unbelievable scenes here on the final lap.
Why is it a pen?
Oh well,
is that a pen?
If you enter the pit lane on the final lap, it's actually quicker, so it's a pen in our league.
Not if you got a puncture.
No, but it still is if you enter the pit lane on the final lap, because of how the telemetry works. DRS is enabled here. Billy and Penguin now out on the mediums. James now has won, but as we all know, and Callie Cannell spun! Callie Cannell is spun! Oh, heartbreak for Callie Cannell, and now it looks like a Red Bull 1-2. Callie Cannell, he has got a rear left puncture.
He's got a puncture.
Rear left puncture for Callie Cannell. Meanwhile, Dobo's trying to catch Inverjack, and has Dobo done it? Dobo might do it! What's happening, Inverjack? Why is he going so slowly? I think Inverjack essentially is going to let Dobo win. Dobo may end up winning here in dramatic fashion. As Dobo surely going to get ahead of his teammate Inverjack here on the final lap. And Dobo out of nowhere. I don't believe what I'm seeing. Ash with another penalty as Billion gets into P10 following all the lap cars. but Dobo is going to round the final corner for a Red Bull 1-2, and Dobo is going to win here in Tier 3 in the opening race of the season. At no point in the race,
these two are fighting.
as James gets through onto the podium ahead of Callie Cannell. Meanwhile, Ash rounding the final corner may jump up to P5 with Callie Cannell's pens. No, he doesn't. Down into P6 goes Ash. But at no point did I ever think Dobo was going to win this race. But absolutely sensational. Infrajack had the win in the bag, but he just gave it to Dobo for some reason. Absolute major team play there from Infrajack. Insane to see.
I think he just let him have it because he was going to get it anyway because of the penalty gap. So he just let him have it on the line anyway. On track win.
No, but before he even had that, Infrajack let him through, he was up the road by like 4 seconds, so he didn't need to give up that win.
Right, someone go down to the Haas garage and get a drugs test going.
But
The gaps up.
absolutely sensational driver of the day goes to Dobo with most overtakes, fastest lap goes to Ayub as I can't believe what I've seen. That's absolutely sensational. Dobo out of nowhere as I just can't believe what I'm seeing. This has been absolute cinema to the very end. We'll try and see if we can get the top three into for some driver interviews. As Dobo, Infrajack, and James, we'll try and get them into the party if we can. Also, Zampa, join Race Party 1 as we'll try and get some driver interviews here. But absolutely sensational there. A Red Bull 1-2 in the end. As Dobo picks up his first win of the season. But we'll welcome in NMX James. NMX James, it is a podium on debut if you're unaware. Lil Gunna has been TSQ'd for the sandbagging, but welcome in NMX James. How'd that race go for you?
Oh, fucking, it was great until the second last lap, and I got a puncture. To be honest, I didn't know you couldn't piss in the last lap.
Well, it's only if you put on like the very last lap, like entering the pit lane as you cross the checkered flag. So you did nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, if I pitted earlier with the inters, I probably would still be up there, but sure, what can you do? Still P3, so not too bad.
Yeah, it is a good, strong start to the season, and it's going to be exciting to watch. What a race there from you, James. Do you think, as we go on throughout the season, do you think the championship could be on?
Now, to be honest, the only person I really want to battle right now is Infrajack, because he kept with me a good few laps, so I think he'd probably be my rival this time.
Well, we're looking forward to see it as we head into the next round, and as we move on. Infrajack, you ended up getting P2 there, but you potentially had a win in the cards. Why did you just give that up for Dobo there on the final lap?
I got low fuel mode on the final lap, so I had to go in AI mode for half of the final sector. It really bugged me. But I think I burnt. I was on like minus 0.5% for like 10 laps straight, trying to keep up with James.
Absolute heartbreaking. But in the end, it is still a Red Bull 1-2, a very strong start to the season. It's a P2. First podium in WHF, I believe, for yourself, Infrajack. So you can take that into the next round.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to driver of the day. And at no point did we ever think we'd be saying this, but Dobo wins here in Tier 3. Dobo, how'd that race go for you?
Yeah, that was like the perfect race for me. To be honest, as soon as I saw it was wet, I kind of had confidence because I actually practiced wet just before it started. So like I had a bit of confidence going into the race, and all I did was just kept it clean throughout the whole race. And lucky enough, everyone just spun around with me, and then I made that choice to go on inters at the end, and then it dried up, and I thought I made a mistake, but I just thought I'm just going to stick it out, and it just lucky enough worked in my favour.
Yeah, absolutely sensational drive. Did you at no point? I'll be honest. I don't want to be harsh, but at no point did we think the win was going to be in your favour. We were predicting a couple other drivers, but on the final lap, you just appeared out of nowhere, like the Red Sea had parted. Did you think at any point in that race you were going to win?
No, to be honest, I was just happy with like a P5, P4, and then like as soon as I saw a couple of people spin out, and then I realised I was in P3. And then like Jeff came on the radio and said that the person ahead has run out of fuel, and I was like, hang on a minute, P2 might be on here. And then obviously it didn't realise about the Haas as well, like guy being so quick. And then like I think that's actually my first like league race of like my first league win race. Like,
Is that your first league race win?
I think that's my first ever win.
Oh, that's sensational. For those of you watching along, Dobo has been with us, I think, since maybe even WHF Season 1. How long has it been?
Yeah.
Was it Season 1?
I think it is the first. Yeah, I think it is Season 1.
And here, all the way in Season 6, Dobo finally finishes in first, picks up his first win. It's been a long time coming, but an absolute pleasure to see. Congrats, Dobo.
Thank you.
And I think that's a good, strong place to end the stream. What absolute cinema of a race. It's a Red Bull 1-2. They have started the season very strongly and look like it could be Red Bull Constructor Champions, just like we've seen in Tier 1 last season. Going to be very interesting to see. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow, and we're going to raid Infratic on our way out. But I've been WHFO, joined by SSR Zampa. And thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, and you'll be joined by Rio Harris in the commentary booth for Tier 2 as they start their calendar in China. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.